making it beautiful and juicy, as you like to say,
Juicy.
then it's a dance. Then we're dancing.
John's face is like, no.
Realize that like you're dancing together, you're both dancing.
That's a whole nother. Yes.
But then I dance with them, and it's like, whoa, this is not. You didn't do all this. Like, you didn't do all this like 10 minutes.
Welcome back.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Do I look a little different?
A little bit.
A little.
Some going on.
A little something going on. A little growth in some areas.
A little bit. I'm just saying it occurred to me, you know, for those that are new here, we record multiple episodes in one day, right? So it did occur to me that it might be a little while before we record the next one, a couple of months.
Yeah.
And
I'll look very different.
You're going to look quite different in our next round of
I can't
podcasts.
wait. I can't wait for the puffy face.
This lady.
I need evidence that there's something growing, you know?
Yeah. So this
But it's
Tango
good.
family's
It's good.
growing.
I just hope this part can stay after. I hope it just stays. It's a whole new world. So perhaps we should get to the topic before we get blocked for explicit content over here.
Even before that, really quick, my name is John. We have,
John.
hey, we have Amanda
Hi.
and Melody.
Whoa. I'm sorry. Amanda
And what?
and baby Amanda.
Sorry, baby Amanda.
There's like three of us on this.
Sorry,
True.
I'm sorry. Should we get a third mic in there and then we can start, really?
Put the little
Yeah.
right there.
You can hear the, the little
Heartbeat.
heartbeat. Yeah.
That's what we're
Yeah,
talking.
Yeah.
Agreeance.
Okay, so what are we talking about today?
So today we're talking about whose job is it to keep the dance interesting?
Or rather, to what extent is it your job to keep the dance interesting, whether you're a leader or follower? This, I think, is a common problem that's usually first experienced from the leader perspective, because you're generally the one creating the structure of the dance, you're proposing, so it's your ideas that we're dancing. So as a leader, there's a lot of pressure to make it interesting. So maybe we could touch on that first and then continue the conversation. I think this is such a huge misnomer, because if you ask every leader, they will say, yes, I feel the pressure. Like, I'm not interesting enough. I'm just doing the same things over and over. When I'm dancing with a follower, I'm constantly trying to find new ways to keep them entertained and engaged. When you talk to the followers, we will say, we actually don't care about all of these extra fancy things. We just want to be held in a very nice embrace and just have a really nice walk.
Yeah. Well, and maybe don't just do the exact same 3-step pattern over and over the entire song. That's the one
If
qualification.
the embrace is nice, it can be accepted, I think. If the embrace...
It's my pet peeve. If somebody was a salsa dancer and they
make the leaders
dance
feel better,
tango
Melody.
like salsa.
What?
Oh, you know.
What are you talking about?
No, there's...
No.
Okay. No. Let me rephrase.
Those 3 steps look different every single time you do them. Yes.
No, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. Sometimes we get stuck in our habits. We get stuck in this habit where we just do this and then we do this and then we do this and then we do this. And we don't vary the tone. We don't vary the rhythm. The entire song, we're just marching. So yes, I think the onus is on both people in the dance to fully
let's take a
listen.
step back. We need to clarify this comment about salsa, okay? Yes, salsa does have a repeating 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 rhythm. However, that's not how it's truly danced. And once you understand that, sometimes you don't even do all 3 beats. Sometimes you do 1, or maybe you do 1, 2, and you let the follower do something, or you do something else with your timing. I don't even know, like, structurally how that works. I just know you just feel in the music. So yes, there are sometimes, if you're looking at a beginner salsa dancer.
What I mean. This is what I mean.
No, but we're not even talking about beginners. We're just talking about leaders in general, whether you are new or not new. But let's leave salsa out of this, because I'm sorry. No, I disagree. But
okay, but let's
salsa always takes
just
the brunt of the like, well, we're better than salsa people.
No. That's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. I mean that salsa has a basic step when you're learning as a beginner, that you're doing this step, and you know how to communicate with each other, right? Because it's just this hand contact. But so you learn this pattern first. And sometimes people come to tango when they have other limited Latin dance experience, and they're like, oh, well, I just have to do this structure. So let's just say they did the basic 8 and they did it the exact same way the entire time, and they never varied anything.
Okay, but I wouldn't put that to say someone's coming from a Latin experience and they're limited because of that. Like, this can happen regardless of what experience you have. So let's separate the Latin dance from the salsa Latin dance from the tango.
Sure.
Latin
Okay.
dance.
So they get stuck in a pattern. Let's just
They-
say a
as
pattern.
A pattern.
They get stuck in a pattern and they only dance that pattern and they only dance it one way and with one musicality. So that would be my pet peeve. Like,
Now,
that's the
so
one time.
Now we're explaining. Okay, so now we're exploring when it feels boring.
Yes.
So it's not. So as far as like, to what extent does the leader have to carry this weight stack to make it entertaining for the follower? It's like, yes, you want to create and offer something interesting for the person you're dancing with. Like, why would you ask someone to dance if you have nothing to say? Right? Part of that means dancing to the music. And as it happens, while the music is repetitive across like measures, there are still variations. So if you're moving, even with your same old three steps, if you're still moving to the music, your pattern, flavor, and feel will change because the music changes, right? So
Ideally, yeah.
You can find rhythmic parts of the music and dance more rhythmically. You can find melodic parts and dance more melodically, which means your timing changes, your speed changes, the texture you
Your
select
tone.
changes.
Your embrace can change.
And your embrace can change, yes.
Yes.
So, yes, I think we all agree to some extent, just from the leader's side, yes, you should have something to say. And it should be aligned to the music, but you don't have to feel so burdened to create new steps all the time, or
no.
so many variety of steps to make it interesting. You can make it interesting with the same few steps, changing the timing, the music, your orientation, pausing. Like, as a follower, we actually, even when you know the steps, you lose your sense of orientation when you're moving around in a circle. So it feels different to enter and exit using different,
Oh, I don't even think about that as a follow.
exactly. So we
Yeah,
don't even
that's
realize
not even-
that. To some, we don't realize it's repetitive unless you are truly doing the exact same thing in the exact same way
Yes.
for 15 minutes.
Yes.
Then yes.
Which does happen. That does happen, which is why I mention it. And I think, like, I danced with someone and they told me, they're like, oh, it kind of felt like you're just doing the same thing over and over. And I was, because I was trying to find the opportunity. It was a practica, and I was trying to find the opportunity to try something, and I just couldn't get that opportunity. And I was like, yeah, I know. I'm so sorry. But that, if there is ever a reason that I would choose not to dance with someone, it's because multiple times in multiple tandas, the whole tanda was, oh, we did this rock step here, and then we did an ocho cortado, and then we walked for 2 steps, and then we did a rock step and an ocho cortado, and it was exactly the same without a pause, without deference to the music.
Yes.
So you can do that same pattern, but if you're pausing when that singer starts, or you're slowing it down and making it beautiful and juicy, as you like to say,
Juicy.
then it's a dance. Then we're dancing.
John's face is like, no, please, Amanda, stop.
No, you like juicy things.
That chocolate that I had earlier was very juicy. What you said, Melody, I think around the practica, of course, if you're in the practica, you're in your every rights to repeat the same steps so you can learn and figure out if you're truly practicing. But what you said underscores, I think, part of this, why this is even a challenge for leaders. You were trying to find the right timing to execute this thing, right? And so it was all about the execution of this thing and not like the dancing with the person, which in the practica is perfectly okay and you should do. When you're dancing, a lot of times the leaders sometimes repeat because they're like, oh, it didn't work. Let me try it again.
Oh,
And now it becomes less about dancing and reacting to your partner and more about this pre-planned thing that you had in
And
motion.
how can I get them to do it? How can I get them?
Yes.
They didn't. Oh, let me try it again.
Let me be more forceful. Let me start to, and then you add on other complications. So part of it, so yes, I would say part of it from the leader's perspective, if you want to create variety and something interesting in your dance for your partner, yes, it is applying what you do know to the music so that you can change it And it's about maybe sometimes letting go of your agenda a little bit so that you can be responsive to your partner. What else is there?
I think musicality. Like I think for me it's you're
Dancing
dancing
into the
with
music.
your partner to the music.
Yeah.
Right? If you're like dancing and a singer has this like soaring voice and you're just marching along rhythmically,
Yeah.
it's like why? What are we doing?
And I would actually expand on that a little bit more. I think when we say dance to the music, it can be a bit misleading because the music is so many different layers.
Yes.
So I think I think what we mean to say is dance to very specific threads in the music that hopefully is changing throughout the dance. So find the moment of the singer and dance to that moment and that feeling. Find the rhythmic bass and dance to that. And then find the melodic. And then find the counter melodies. And then find the pauses. So it's dancing to the music. It's less of a monolithic approach. And it's more about pick and choose moments in the music to dance to that's varied. And then you don't have to worry about varying your own steps because it'll just follow naturally.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and realize that like you're dancing together, you're both dancing.
That's a whole nother. Yes. Should we let John talk a little bit? Because I do want to dive what we mean by both people dancing because clearly you have a leader and a follower. How can both people be dancing? Strange.
So it's such an interesting question. So yes, like you said, Amanda, I do feel pressure to entertain, but I think there's a part of me that feels pressure to entertain myself, actually. And so no, because like
if you're not interested, then you're like for sure.
No. I don't mean that I find the follower to be boring or anything. I just find that I like sometimes when I'm dancing, I would like to be able to be much more varied in the various steps or the tonality or like the different layers of music that I attach to in that specific moment. And so in a sense, it's pressure to be novel for myself, like to feel like that my dancing in that moment is novel and evolving and a living thing, not just like some static quality that I've practiced and is now kind of just coasting. So there's that pressure, and I feel like if I find that my dancing is static to me, then that can create a negative experience over a longer period of time.
That's an interesting perspective because I always hear about leaders talk about it being interesting for the followers, never about themselves, which I think is equally as important. You should feel entertained, like you should enjoy your own dancing.
Yeah, it should be fun. And if you're doing it and it's not fun and you feel like you're just kind of going through the motions, then
why are you doing it?
Yeah. I will say though that in order to dance to the music, it's not something that will just, even if you know the music very well, I don't think it's something that can just happen in the moment when you hear the music. You need to practice and explore the variations and the range of the movements that you like to do. Just because you hear it in the moment doesn't mean you'll be able to act to it. So you have to go to the practicas and you have to train yourself to expand your breadth of movements, range, and flexibility. So you kind of have some ideas of options. Then when the time comes, you're like, oh, I've explored these options. I can do it. It's very magical too when you can create that in the moment with the follower when you're engaged with them, because the follower might propose something, and then if you're sensitive enough as a leader and you've listened to it, they might introduce a new range of movement that you had never done before.
Yeah.
But that happens maybe rarely, right? Like it doesn't happen nearly as often as it probably should. So I think as a leader, like you need to actively practice the full range, the full spectrum of your movements to different musical threads. Otherwise, it won't just appear in the moment.
Yes. Well, and if you're like testing things out on the floor that you haven't practiced, at least in my experience as a follower, it's really irritating. It's like This isn't the time to practice. This is the time to dance,
Yeah.
right? So like a practica is the perfect place, or like even private practice or a private lesson or group class, but like don't do it at the milonga, right? But this is a lot from the leader perspective, and I think we're leaving out
Okay.
the follows perspective.
That's
So
fair.
there's an interesting question here. Do followers feel the need to add adornos, energy or responsiveness, or embellishments to avoid being boring, or do they do it when they're bored?
Can I start on
Please.
this one?
Yes. What is
Okay.
your perspective
came
as
up
a
with this
leader?
I feel
So
only,
I don't know if followers. I've never asked a follower if they feel like they need to add uh, uh, adornments to their dance, but I can tell when I've danced with followers who I felt was overdoing it, and it actively
Me?
no, not you. No, but they're doing it too much, and I feel like it actively detracts from the dance because it becomes to me it becomes, if it's done a lot, it becomes performative for the follower, and it becomes not so much about um, the partner as opposed to anybody who could potentially be watching. At least that's the way it feels. Obviously, after the dance. I'm not in a place where I'm going to ask them if this is kind of because.
So why did you do that fifth
What's that?
extra belay that I didn't really eat? Like, what was that about?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but it's also because for sure, and I'm actually kind of curious if it's just me, because there are times that I've watched a follower, and they look like they're lovely. They're very like restrained. They're kind of like what I'm looking for. But then I dance with them, and it's like, whoa, this is not. You didn't do all this. Like you didn't do all this like 10 minutes ago. Like what's going on here? And I'm curious if there's some perceived expectation that I have for follows that like, oh, like he likes when follows do this, so I'm going to do all of these.
Yeah, there is that too.
Well, also, question for you is, do you think they're doing it because they're bored, or you're saying you think they're doing it to be performative, or is there another motivation?
So I don't know. I'm trying to like I'm not gonna ask a follow. It's like, hey, why were you like why were you doing all this stuff with me but not with the other guy? Like what's going on there, right? So it's kind of an awkward position for me.
I'd be curious to know if the type of dance, if this is a like recurring behavior, is it that you're asking these people to dance for certain types of music that you particularly like? If you ask, which I think you like more rhythmic music, it encourages more extra things, because rhythmic music is kind of hard to like, you feel the music, your shoulders start vibing, And maybe are you watching them instead with dancers that are doing slightly more melodic things, where it's a lot more like stretchy feeling, less external movements, more internal texture of movement?
Or is it, I personally don't really embellish if I don't feel that we're well connected or I'm not understanding their dance. So if I don't feel like I can express, because I'm like, I'm not really sure when I have the moment to. So I follow. I'm like explicitly what they're doing. But if I feel comfortable and I feel that we're dancing together, that is when I feel like I can have more of a voice and express myself. So it may be that they feel differently dancing with you than this other person, and they felt like, not that you're expecting it, but that they felt a comfort enough to express themselves more.
Ooh, that's a nice one.
That's absolutely, and it could be any of the options. I don't really know. I definitely could be more perceptive about the music that's being danced.
You might also, maybe what plays into the comfort is you might also be allowing space for more expression from the follower.
Could be.
Versus blocking it.
Yes.
But ultimately, And again, I recognize this as kind of a preference thing, right? Like as a leader about like what I'm feeling, um, and and this, this is one of those things. It changes if it's someone you dance with regularly. If it's a friend, obviously, and then they're more expressive during the dance, like you kind of get it. It's like maybe that's their personality, and you kind of allow room. But if it's someone you never really dance with, or you dance with rarely, and they're kind of being more expressive and embellishing a lot, then you're you're not quite sure, is this like how they're feeling.
I think we need to clarify something here. I think a lot of times when we talk about embellishments and adornos, at least it took me a while to understand that there's two different ways of doing it, generally speaking. There's the separate add-on that's occurring regardless of what the music, the partner, the moment is, and this is purely an individual dance reaction. And then there is like a supplement to what is happening, or a reaction to something that the lead is doing, and then it's part of the dance and not an extra dangling piece.
Maybe one is that you're dancing by yourself.
Exactly. And so when leaders feel like it's boring, I think it's because the follower is dancing by themselves. So then as a leader, I would think, oh, I guess like all the other ideas I had just wasn't good enough. So you felt like you needed to go do your own thing. Whereas when it goes in the flow of what's happening and it makes sense logically with the music, the moments, and it's like, oh, that was a really interesting idea. The reaction is very different in that regard.
But I think maybe sometimes it could have to do with this trend, right? Because we shifted from like this very nuevo, very like you had to be very connected. There wasn't a lot of embellishment and adornos to this like Carlitos Noelia style of dancing that was growing in popularity. And it was growing in popularity.
Oh, okay. You mean from
as nuevo was becoming a bit less popular here. I don't know about other places. And maybe for people that didn't take classes with them, the perception was that he's just standing there and he's just like, I'm giving you the space, you do whatever you want.
Or she's taking it.
But that wasn't what was happening, right? They were still communicating very much. So I think that people have seen videos but maybe not studied with those maestros. So maybe they don't understand, like, no, I'm not just like holding on to him while I do my own thing. Right. But are we dancing
He's
together?
creating more of a shape that you're filling in.
Yes.
That's a very hard thing to do as a leader. And I don't know that we get taught as dancers how to actually create space for followers to fill in versus always like dictating every single movement. It's something that I think kind of grows over with time if you're sensitive to it.
I think that in our area in particular, we haven't had anybody here teaching that since maybe 2016, because Carlitos Noelia did teach that. They did a workshop here, well, New York, not here, but New York. And that was the intensive. That was all of it.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful, but it definitely wasn't like, oh, you just stand there while she pitter patters around you.
And
right?
It's interesting because, wow, I can't speak today. It's interesting. Because I've had moments where there's like a third also, I think, bucket of embellishments, quote unquote, where it's something that was like not planned or not part of the leader's plan. But sometimes as I'm dancing, I misinterpret what the leader wants. And so I do one thing and I thought that's what they meant. And then they're like, oh, I guess you're doing your own thing. And I was like, I just thought that's what you were leading.
Yeah.
Or every now and then I'll misstep myself. I'll miss a step. I'll be falling off balance. I'll do something to course correct while we're in motion. And for instance, like when you're kind of going to the cross and you kind of like do like a little leg click and then keep going. I initially did that by accident because I thought we were going to the cross, but then the energy kept going, and then I would come out of it last minute and keep going. Then it's like, oh, I guess you felt like you needed to do this embellishment. But like things like that would happen where it's like, I'm actually not trying to embellish. I just misunderstood. Right. I tried to fix it since we were still in motion. Yeah. So sometimes that does happen. And then the leader, to your point, will then say, okay, fine. Now here's your chance to embellish. And then they'll like hold the pose. And I just look at them like also pausing because I'm like, oh, you can't just embellish out of thin air.
Yes.
You can't adorn out of thin air. There needs to be a
Yes.
causality
Yes.
for why you're doing this.
And a direction. And
If I want to do that, then I turn on my leading hats and then I go lead because I want to create something very specific.
Yes.
I hate when leaders do that. But anyways, I digress. I think the question here is then, to what extent is it the followers' responsibility to also add to the dance being interesting? And I think it's equal.
I don't think a follower has to embellish.
It's equal to make the dance interesting as well, as much as the leader, which doesn't mean embellishment, right? It can just mean being really responsive. It can mean like adding. I don't think that texture is embellishment. To be honest, I feel like these words are like splitting hairs sometimes.
Yeah. Like the tonality of the embrace.
Right. Like if I propose a slightly sharper, I'm following everything. I haven't changed. You're leading me ochos. Maybe I'm taking them a little bit more sharply because of the music, or maybe I'm taking them more flowy because of the music.
Yeah.
I don't know that. I don't think that that's an embellishment.
And
No, but it's a follower's voice. It can.
Right. So I'm expressing myself. And as like you said before, while we are leaders, I'm sorry, John, while we're leaders and followers, that's only like our communication role. We're both dancers.
Yeah.
And to have only one dancer express themselves in a couple dance is like the most insane thought to me. Like two people are dancing together. It's like, it would be the equivalent of going to the club and having one person standing there still while the other person is like gyrating, which I know sometimes it happens, but at least even if you're like grinding on someone, they're like grinding with you, right? It's not like, and that's what it feels like leaders sometimes expect. They expect the followers to just like be there,
shuffle along
while you're the one doing all the stuff. And it's like, no, like the follower is a dancer. They should express themselves without being bucketed as embellishing or like that's other.
Yeah.
When you add to the idea, I think then you're embellishing and you're adorning.
Yeah.
If you're just executing the idea in a slightly different texture, I wouldn't consider that.
Okay, John.
Because if the leader were to move and propose a certain texture, that's not an embellishment.
No. Yeah. So that's why that's a great point. I want to clarify. There's like, I feel like music is king, right? And if whatever the follower does, it makes perfect sense in the music, I am game, right? There have been a lot of times I've been dancing with the follower, and they clearly know that particular song better than I do, and they do something, I'm like, I literally will be like, I like your version better than mine, like of that dance, right? Just because like I enjoyed what they did and it was great. I think what I'm talking about specifically where I'm become confused is if it's just kind of all the time everywhere, kind of regardless of what is happening in the music. And so that's what becomes that's a separate sensation that becomes a little more confusing.
Okay, so you're saying if it's musical.
Right. So I just wanted to make sure I have that clarification because like you're right, there's definitely different buckets of embellishments and adornos and followers' voice, and there's minutia that we can sort of split hairs about. But I think it's just specifically there are times when it feels like they're doing movement for movement's sake and not. It's like they have an idea. It's like, okay, this is what advanced dancers do. Like this is advanced dancers throw in a lot of these movements, and like that's kind of right, and it's coming from a place, but it doesn't, if it as a leader it doesn't feel like it's coming from a place besides just I don't want to, this is going to sound bad, but like kind of almost neediness of movement, I guess. It's like,
I mean, let's not apply assumptions for why it happens, but I think acknowledging that when it happens as a separate entity, it just doesn't feel nice anymore.
Yeah, it becomes not, you're not adding anything to the dance, you're just creating, I don't know. You're
creating like a side branch.
Yeah. You're not contributing to the experience. So
that means followers, we need to take lessons.
No, I just
and practice. Well, maybe less take lessons, but more practice and engage in practicas and try to figure out what is our voice, our just inherent voice as we're dancing, which does not fall into an embellishment or an adorno bucket, is your voice as a follower, the same way how the leader has a voice as a leader.
Yeah.
And then how do you think about, for the things that you do like, that you think are beautiful to do, challenge yourself to think about how do you make that a reaction? What would need to be occurring in the embrace, in the couple, for that to be the next logical thing to incorporate? But I still think it's a 50-50 responsibility on both dancers to be interesting to dance with.
Yeah, 100%.
If I don't have anything to say as a follower, I won't dance, because then I'm just like a rag doll.
Interesting. I think there's a beauty in purely following too, though. Like, sure that you're expressing your movement in the way that the quality of your step, maybe, but even that can be dictated by the lead. And I'm saying, like, I'm saying that there is.
I don't think you're dancing if you're purely following. I think you're just executing.
Oh, I don't think so.
Yes.
I think that
I define purely following as something very different.
I think that you can dance with someone that seeing the way that they're hearing the music
Absolutely.
and just being lost in that can be so beautiful.
But I think the reaction to, you have to react to them hearing to that music. That's your voice.
Well, you're dancing together, but that's following.
But I think you're, no, I think when you're dancing together, you're dancing. I think following is purely like a front step was led. You take a front step. But the front step was led in this manner, like you're dancing it now. I think your definition of purely dancing actually incorporates the follower expressing. Follower expressing the voice does not mean changing the texture necessarily of the movement, right? Like, for instance, I think we talked about this last time, right, John? Like the way maybe the way I land, the way I like absorb.
Last time we danced?
Yeah, like the way I was absorbing. I didn't realize it was like creating this like thing. Yeah. That's just how I move, period. Whether or not it's not like adding or creating a different texture. It's just how I've developed myself to move and absorb the shock on the floor. Like, to me, that's part of my dancing, my voice when I dance. It's not, so I think as when you express yourself as a dancer, when you're following, when you're in the follower's role, there is a certain quality to your movements that counts as your voice. And then sometimes that quality is exactly in sync to what the leader is doing, or sometimes it's enhancements of what the leader is doing, or maybe it's a contrast to what the leader is doing. But either way, that's your voice as a dancer. If I then decide to suggest a slightly different path, now I'm embellishing or adorning, and I'm not like that's different. I wouldn't say pure following, like to just purely follow, to just stand there and just like move. To me, that's execution. That's not dancing.
I think that at a really advanced level, the leader can communicate that texture and that quality, and to be fully in sync and together and present in that moment can be so beautiful.
Yeah.
That if the equation is, okay, they're proposing this structure, but I want to move the way I want to move, then you're not dancing.
Right, together. But that's not what I mean by dancing either. Like, I feel like we're describing two different things right now. If the leader proposes a certain structure, I still have to respond to that structure. That is my dance.
But I'm saying that not only can they propose the structure,
my voice.
They can propose the quality. They can propose the texture.
That's what I'm saying. Structure meaning everything. If they say everything, let's move this. Let's move in this certain quality of this, whatever you want to describe this movement. As I engage with that, the way how I would respond, like my ability to respond to that and your ability to respond to that will feel a little bit different, just because we're different people, we move differently. But we're still responding exactly to what the leader proposed. But because we're different, we are already expressing ourselves. If they're proposing that, to me, just following would be just purely following the mechanical aspects of the movement. I don't think the following aspect is.
Oh, I see. Then I think,
so
we just have different definitions of following.
I think
because
so.
I'm thinking of like really truly just being fully present, where like I think there's a level that I can't even dance at yet. I felt it a couple of times, and I'm like, oh, I want that, and that I have to reserve. Like, I probably wouldn't dance a really rhythmic song if I wanted to dance this way, right? That I have to completely reserve my own voice and be fully in tune and present in a way that I might not want to if it's like Piaget.
If you're having a really good conversation with someone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying some really interesting things, and you're just staring at them. Would you consider that to be a conversation?
I wouldn't liken it to a conversation though.
But dancing is a conversation. It has to be a conversation. Otherwise, it's one person pushing the other person around.
I think it's two people becoming one.
What
I
does
think
that
I think it's
mean?
getting so into the flow state that you're being fully present, and I think that that's like the hardest level to achieve.
So when you're having a conversation and you reach a really good flow state, it's this person is saying something. You're like, oh my God, yes, I also experienced the same thing. And they're like, yes, I also, and what about this other thought? Yes, I totally agree. I also feel that we're all agreeing and going along with what this person's proposing, but we're still like having a dialogue about it. It's not just following would be purely just listening, like a lecture. This person's talking to me. Maybe I'm nodding along, sure, but I'm not engaged in the conversation. It can't be a flow state if there isn't equal and opposites reaction. I say opposite in the sense of like when one person's moving one direction, you have to apply and give force in the other direction. Otherwise, you're just like pushing through one other person. You have to give back.
I gotta disagree.
I think we agree to disagree then.
We
will put this to the audience.
Roles. I think they're different roles, and I think there's a different dynamic to having the leader voice and having the follower voice.
Otherwise, you're dead as a follower. You're just like limp and standing there.
No, there's a beauty to it. I think actually Asia and Humans of Tango speaks to this really well, that there is like this powerful force and this soft force. And what I'm saying is that, yes, the powerful force is kind of shaping, I don't want to say masculine and feminine, and that would be the we just don't have words. I'm saying that one is, sure, recognizing attributes and also shaping the dance in response to what these attributes are of the other side. But both are being fully present, yes, but they're both dancing. And to me, I'm saying really following is not that you're just following the structure and you're trudging along. I'm saying really following is being fully in tune and present.
So then at what point are you dancing?
It is dancing.
Okay, so then I think we're just using different words to describe the same thing.
Yeah, but I am saying that you can limit
to split the two.
No, but otherwise you can limit the leader's voice by having too much of your own qualities and characteristics.
Well, now we're going to the extreme, but you both need to have something to say. Otherwise, just sit.
Yeah.
We'll put this to the we'll continue to agree to disagree. I'm very curious to know what people truly think about this. How do you define following? How do you find dancing? Are they the same thing? Are they two different things?
Yes.
And at what point is it, let's say, inherent to the dance for both people to have a dialogue? At what point is it too much for one person or the other person? Where do you draw the line with embellishment and adornos? I'm very curious.
Yes, and I do think that people probably are surprised to hear what I'm saying from this perspective, because of all people, I certainly do like to have a voice in dance, but I think that can limit you. So let's comment.
We have to stop this right now.
Comments.
We do. Yeah.
We'll come back.
We're not mutes. No.
Comments below. I would love to hear what people have to say about this. I you know what?
We didn't even ask you, John. I won't make you pick sides here, John.
However it is, I do certainly appreciate that everyone has something very different to offer, and that it is such a
don't be such a mediator, John.
No, I've told you before, right? I've told you guys, like, you guys are very different dancers, and that's okay, and that's great. That's what makes it great. That I can go to a milonga, and there are people who, like, you know this, Amanda, who are danced a certain way that, like, maybe vibes with you, but other people who dance a different way that vibes with other people, and like us having this diversity of experience makes it exciting. It makes it like refreshing and brand new, and something that people want to pursue.
This is why we work as a team.
Yeah.
At least one of us will always serve as the jam to our team jam.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
All right. I'm ready for the next one now.
Okay. All right.
Let's do this. Please do.
Go for it.
Can I do one?
Yeah. You do one.
I honestly don't know why they always say like and subscribe. Like, if you want to watch the video, watch the video. What's more important for me is that you comment and you engage with us at the end of the day. But because we're on YouTube and other places, and we do want to increase our visibility and have more people engage with us, if you would like to see more of this content and you want to show us that you appreciate it and you want more, liking and subscribing is a great way to encourage us to do that.
Yes. Yes, please do.
Well done, Amanda.
Was that okay?
No, that was
That was
Without
fantastic.
being too
awesome.
combative.
No,
That was
great.
awesome.
A+. All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
I thought we were done. Sorry. Bye. Sorry, John. You're going to have to cut a lot of that. That's going to be some fine. I'm so sorry. I thought we were done.
Thanks for tuning in to Staying Grounded. If you like this episode, please subscribe and give us a like. We would love to hear from you in the comments, and we'll see you next time.